What's up, I'm B and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at a few of Brittany Dawn's reels. Why? Excellent question. So, reels, TikToks, most of them aren't really meant to be taken that seriously. For most content creators or average people posting reels and or TikToks, it's a joke. It's a funny way to express yourself, hop on trends, have a good time, and there are some people who do make serious ones, but at the end of the day, just because somebody who maybe is a serious person puts out a joking reel doesn't mean that that is reflective of how they actually feel or how they run their business or their life or advice that they would actually give. I recently posted a reel talking about how this is my requirement for my second husband if Rick ever decides to leave me. Is that a serious thing? No, but also I don't really put myself on here as a marriage expert or someone who's going to give you all the tips to be successful in your relationship. I just thought it was funny. Brittany Dawn, however, is an influencer who does posture herself as someone that you should look to as a serious spiritual leader, as well as someone who can instruct you on how best to behave if you're wanting to enter into a godly relationship. And that's why looking at her reels, I felt very uncomfortable. And honestly, watching some of them, I was getting kind of upset that someone who presents himself as a religious leader would put these kinds of reels out there. Again, we can joke, we can have fun. It's, it doesn't need to be that serious, but when you're putting yourself on the internet and presenting yourself in a very specific way, there can be consequences to posting some of the kinds of things that Brittany Dawn has posted. So for that reason, that's why I wanted to take a look at them. And we all know Brittany Dawn has allegedly scammed people. She does not have a good history of being on the up and up in most cases. And so yes, we understand that. Yes, we dislike her for that reason, but I want to take a look at the reels from the perspective of somebody who is religious, and I'm imagining if I was looking at her for religious leadership. And so before we get into that, I just want to put a little bit of a comparison up there. I follow a religious leader named Craig Groeschel. I don't agree with him on everything, but I do respect the way that he views leadership and the way that he speaks about it. I also respect a lot of the things that he puts on his social media, and I feel like those things are reflective of somebody who, one, isn't going to scam you, and two, would be a better choice of someone to look up to. Now, I will admit that Craig Groeschel and Brittany Dawn likely have very different audiences, and if I could pick a religious influencer who I felt would have a similar demographic to Brittany Dawn and use that for comparison, I would. But here's the thing, I don't have one. I don't have a younger female religious influencer who I would feel comfortable spotlighting. And I know that that's bad. Maybe it's just bad on my part because I haven't done enough digging. I don't do enough exploring. But the thing is about a lot of these younger religious influencers, I don't know that they have the wisdom to do the thing that they want to do. It takes a long time, a lot of studying, a lot of digging to actually figure out how to be present in a helpful way when you are wanting to be a religious or spiritual leader. I mean, let's think about Paul and Morgan, and I don't mean to go down an entirely different tangent, but Paul and Morgan, who they are now compared to who they were 2 years ago, are two vastly different things. Their attitudes, the way they speak, who they're willing to affiliate themselves with, it's just different. And I think they still have a long way to go. I think a lot of the things that they say are still really problematic, and I have issues with them. But you have to admit that the difference is there. And so you can't just grow up in a church and expect to be wise. You can't grow up in a church and expect to know how to be present and be a helpful leader without training, without being a student of someone else who you respect. And Brittany Dawn just jumped into this world. She was a fitness influencer. We all know the backstory. Fitness influencers sold personalized plans. Oh, turns out they're not personalized. And also, we're not giving you refunds. Well, actually, we will, but only a partial and only if you sign an NDA. And then she drops off and she comes back and, oh, she's a leader in the religious space now. She didn't go to Bible college, which again, not saying that's the only way to get a good education, but that's one way to do it. She didn't have any sort of mentorship program from what I can understand. She didn't intern anywhere. She did not have any formal training into this. She just said, hey, I grew up in a church and let me do the thing that a lot of people do when they get in hot water, which is pivot to Christianity, and I'll be good to go. So that's where I think a lot of these problems come from. The whole reason we got into this is because I want to show you the kinds of things that are on Craig Groeschel's Instagram compared to the kind of things that are on Brittany's. Okay, so let's just take a look at some of the kinds of things that Craig is posting. This first post, the first slide says, we're always asking, am I enough? And God answers. And if you scroll through the photos, it's kind of like a text conversation and it shows you different verses that are meant to give you reassurance. So just like the next one is, I planned for you carefully, Ephesians 1-5. And so then you can go to that verse and you can take comfort in it. Next one, I provide for you fully, Philippians 4:9. If you keep going through the slides, it's additional examples. Next one is a clip from one of his sermons where it says, come with your doubts.
There's so many people, they have a question about God. They doubt, and the church says, you can't doubt, and so they leave the church. Like, this should be the safest place in the world to take your doubts to God. This should be the place where we're most secure with the most complicated questions about God. You think God hadn't heard it before? Come with your questions to God. Come with your complaints to God. Come with the things that make you crazy about the church. You think there's a lot of things you don't like? Listen, I'm here every day. I can give you a longer list of things I don't like. We're not perfect. We'll never be perfect. So because we're not perfect, we don't demand perfection. We have been forgiven. We are people of grace. And so my message is just like, come on, enjoy me. I need forgiveness. You need forgiveness. Let's just go to Jesus. He is so good.
And so the caption says, I believe God would rather have you run to him with your questions than run from him with your doubts. Again, an uplifting thing, a thing that says, hey, you have doubts, you have questions, totally cool. We all do. Like, we all see this. We are imperfect people. And so you see somebody acting kind of funny in the church and it makes you question, well, do I even want to be here? Everybody has stuff like that. Next one, it's just a verse. The last one I will read is something that just I think is indicative of a more mature person whose advice that I would trust a little bit more than Brittany Dawn's. He says, your words are powerful. They can build others up or they can tear others down. Proverbs 12:18 says, the words of the reckless pierce like swords. Some of you know that. You've been hurt by some very damaging words, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. When we think about the power of our words, isn't it interesting and incredibly sad that we can often be very polite and cordial with our words to total strangers or coworkers all day, but later we are often harsh with the people that we love the most. Since our words are powerful, I have 2 rules to direct my words. 1, if I think something hateful or negative, don't say it. 2, every time I think something positive, I want to say it. I want to set the blessing free. Why would I rob someone of a verbal blessing? If you think something negative, stuff it. If you think something positive, say it. So those are just a few examples of things that you can expect to find on an Instagram like Craig's. Now, I admit they are not as bright and fun and hip as things that you can expect to see on Brittany Dawn's. And like I said, they probably do have a different demographic. But just to prove that I think it's great and totally amazing for religious leaders who take their jobs very seriously to have fun, I will link down below a skit that is from years ago where I don't remember the entire thing, but Craig is doing an interview with the devil.
I was curious, when it comes to the church, what's your strategy?
I'm growing to like the church, honestly. They stay mad at each other half the time. They hate each other. They hate the rest of the world. So, I sit back and watch the fights like everybody else. You know what I'm talking about?
So you're pretty good at division in the church. How is it that you pull this off?
One of the easiest ways is to make somebody just think that they're right, that they're completely and totally right.
If you want to see the skit, it'll be linked down below. And it's just interesting to me how Craig Groeschel presents a kind of jokey skit compared to how Brittany makes her jokes. So let's get into Brittany's Instagram now.
Thank you for the breath in my lungs this morning. Thank you for waking me up and giving me another chance at this life. Thank you for this warm cup of coffee and the roof over my head. I'm sorry, God, for anything that I take for granted on a daily basis. Please posture my heart to see all the good in today. I pray that you would protect me, replacing anxiety with peace and worry with your joy. Blanket me in your strength as you fight battles for me. I pray that you would open doors that need to be opened and slam shut the ones that you need closed. I pray for my heart that it would seek refuge in you before anything else. Lord, please make me a vessel for your kingdom. And if things don't go as planned, please remind my heart that your plan is far greater. Let my eyes see and my ears hear your voice today. Amen.
Okay, so first and foremost, something that bothers me so much is that you can see the TikTok logo on her reel because she's repurposing her content. Like, you're a full-time content creator. At least take the effort to record it, edit it, and then upload it to the 2 separate platforms without that watermark, because it bugs the heck out of me. Secondly, this feels inauthentic. After reading what Pastor Craig said, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. The first thing that comes to my mind is like, this is weird. Why are you sitting there with your eyes closed, holding a cup of coffee with the voiceover of you praying? That is so inauthentic and weird. That doesn't make me want to watch it. It tells me that you had to script out a prayer and then probably you recited it while you were reading it off of a piece of paper or off of your phone to record it, to use it as a voiceover of a video of you just sitting like this. I need to know how y'all feel about that, because to me, I would so much rather have somebody that I'm looking to be a leader in this space. I would rather them show up and just be like, hey, if you're having a tough time, go ahead and pause on this reel and let's say a prayer. And then they just say something together. In my opinion, when somebody posts content like that, I know she wants it to be like aesthetically pleasing. She wants it to be smooth. I know she wants it to have a certain look, but I would so much rather have somebody be authentic and just say, hey, let's pause and say a prayer together. And then they say it off the cuff, authentically. You know, they can think about certain things they want to say before they say it, so it's not just like super jumbled and whatever. Like, you can plan for the prayer, but I would really so much rather have her do that, have her be authentic in that, because the fact that she had to do this voiceover recording makes me feel like, and this is just my opinion, she's not comfortable saying a prayer off the cuff. That is the impression I get. It could be for a totally different reason that she did it that way, but that is the feeling I get when I see that. Next one.
Ladies, when another woman talks bad about you for no reason at all, don't be so quick to clap back. Pray for that woman. She sees something in you that she doesn't see in herself. Remember, confidence is silent. Insecurity is loud.
Okay, so maybe Brittany Dawn would see me making this video and think that I'm sitting here talking bad about her because I'm insecure. She has every right to feel that way. But Brittany Dawn does this thing a lot where she just takes other people's audio and just sits there and is like, and lets it play. And I don't know, to me, it just feels like, what's the point of you doing that if you're not adding anything to it? Like, you're literally just taking the things other people have said and putting your face in the video for views, I guess. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're a content creator, you want views, but you're not adding anything to the thing that that person has said. When really, if you're not going to add anything to it, you should probably just share the original person's video. Because if you think it's an important message, you should want it out there. But if you're going to take it for your own video, you need to transform it in some way. Just, I don't know. As like a decency thing, in my opinion. And then the other thing about that one is just, it's Brittany playing the victim. It's people are attacking her because they're insecure and jealous and they see something in me that they don't see in themselves. It's setting herself up to kind of be the victim of the haters. This next one bugs the heck out of me because as a joke, it doesn't even make sense.
Lord, it's 2022. Give me direction for my life this year.
Start going to the gym.
Give me something else.
Eat healthier.
Nah, give me something else.
Stop shopping on Amazon.
Never mind.
Ma'am, you used to be a fitness influencer and you still post about the topic intermittently. Come on, literally going to the gym and working out? You're very well known for doing that and then ordering stuff off Amazon. Ooh, I think the next reel is actually going to address what I want to say about that. Yeah, it's the one directly after it. I'll read it to you. It says, when your husband is working from home and your packages are out for delivery. And her caption says, think fast, think fast. Let's talk about why this is an inappropriate joke to make. I feel like we've gotten very comfortable just in general with an online culture of kind of poking fun at our spouses in ways that maybe aren't so nice. You know, there are certain jokes that I think are innocuous enough, like they're lighthearted, that really, you know, they're things that people can relate to, and so they're kind of funny. You know, if you see a joke about a man not wanting to ask for directions, or, you know, the husband being like, oh, where are you going? And she's like, I'm running errands, and then she actually goes to Target and gets a Starbucks and walks around for like an hour and a half. It's like that stuff that's pretty relatable. It's all in good fun. We joke about it, and it's one of those things where it's not that you're being deceitful or hurtful to your spouse, because they know what you mean when you say like, oh, well, I gotta go run errands, and they're like, I know what you're doing. You know, it's a joking, lighthearted sort of thing. Okay, so I don't have a problem with jokes like that. The more sinister aspect of this reel in particular is that Brittany's implying she's making purchases and hiding them from her spouse. Now, in any relationship, I feel like that's an issue all on its own. Either your spouse is being way too controlling with money and could be abusive in that way, and so you feel like the only way to get the things that you need is to buy them and hide them, or you are being deceitful and making purchases that go against your common goal or your budget, and you know that your spouse would be upset about it, and so you feel the need to hide them because you are being deceitful. Throughout the Bible, there are over 800 mentions of money and possessions. That tells us that this is a very, very important topic. Many marriages end because of money struggles. According to data released by TD Ameritrade in 2018, 41% of Gen Xers said that they ended their marriage because of disagreements and fights about money. If you are a religious leader or a spiritual leader, somebody offering guidance, this is a topic that you should take extremely seriously because it impacts the people who look up to you. Money is a very important topic, just in terms of the practicality of real life, but also in terms of the faith that you claim to believe in. And so making a joke feels wrong to me. It sends the wrong message. Saying these words out loud, I know it feels like I am picking on Brittany Dawn. I know it does, because people are going to say, it's just a joke. Why are you being so mean? From where I'm sitting in the seat where religion is really important to me, and it's something that's involved in my daily life, and it's something I take a lot of time to nurture and care for, it's very upsetting to me to think about other people who also take their religion very seriously potentially being misled or having their relationship with God damaged because of something Brittany Dawn has posted. That's why it's a lot of responsibility to posture yourself as a religious leader, because you are messing with people's most intimate relationship in their lives, the relationship between them and the divine, and then you're also likely messing with themselves and their partner, themselves and their family, their own self-esteem, the way they feel about themselves, the way that they're either feeling judged or ostracized or alienated by the thing that you are saying, and they're feeling like, oh, maybe I don't have a place in my religion, in this thing that's important to me, because Brittany Dawn said this. Brittany Dawn said that I have a broken sense of identity because I had a one-night stand before I got married. Brittany Dawn said that I have soul ties and I'm incomplete because I've had sex outside of marriage. Brittany Dawn says I can't be a Christian because I like yoga and meditation. Somebody who's newer in their faith, that's going to have a real impact on them. There are people who have been developed in their faith for a long time, or they've dove in head first and they feel very confident and comfortable, and they can see things from religious leaders that they disagree with and say, I hear you and I respect your opinion on some things, but I disagree here. And it's really not going to have that big of an impact. It's like if I saw something on Craig Groeschel's feed that I disagreed with, maybe I'd ponder it for a second, but I wouldn't say I think differently, am I going to hell? But that could very much be the reality for other people if they're newer to the faith, or if they've grown up in a faith where everything was restricted and maybe now they're trying to step outside of that and they're trying to learn if that's really what they believe, and then they get that idea reinforced by Brittany Dawn. Or they get the idea that, oh, Brittany Dawn lies to her husband about money, so I don't have to tell my husband this. And to each their own. Everybody can handle money in their own way and in the way that they want to do it. I know plenty of married couples who do not have combined finances because they prefer to do it differently. I am just saying, for couples who do have combined finances, transparency, honesty, and integrity are incredibly important things to have. And Brittany Dawn making a joke about lying to your husband about what you bought online does not sit right with me. Okay, that was quite a long rant, so if you stuck around through it, thank you. I appreciate you. I just have one more reel that I want to react to, and then we will be done. If you liked this and you want me to go through more of her reels from a Christian perspective, definitely feel free to let me know in the comments, but I don't want to harp on it for too long, so we're just going to watch this last one, and then we will be done. This says, to the men who aren't, quote, too manly to help clean. And it's a video of Jordan vacuuming their bedroom. Aren't too busy to hold her hand while driving. Aren't too masculine to go shopping with her. Who always open her door and cook dinner when she's had a hard day. Thank you for being the example of how every woman should be treated. I feel like this is based on very outdated stereotypes. I don't really know very many men who have the conversation of I'm not going shopping with her. I'm too much of a man. I need to hang out in my garage and get some grease underneath my fingernails. I feel like that conversation doesn't really happen a lot. Also, on a realistic level, are we just expecting our partners to come with us to do something because we want them to come with us to do something without regard for their feelings? I mean, if you're going shopping for outfits for you, is that really fun for him to do? If you guys both are going to say, hey, let's go to the mall, we'll make a day of it, we'll pop around, we'll stop at the food court, get some Sbarros, it'll be a great time. Yeah, sure, y'all go together. That would be great. But I know for me that if I'm going clothing shopping and I'm serious about it because I'm getting an outfit for something important, or I have something in mind that I specifically need, I don't necessarily want to have somebody there with me who's just kind of shadowing me around the store. That doesn't sound like a good time to me, but who knows? Maybe I'm the anomaly. Her caption says, I woke up this morning to my husband cleaning carpets and vacuuming just because. His response? Quote, just because I'm a man doesn't mean I'm too manly to help my wife clean. You've had a long week and I want to take this off your plate, babe. End quote. Insert sappy, happy sob moment. To the manly men who aren't too prideful or busy to pay attention to the little things that we as women love but won't always ask for, thank you. The little things matter most. I need to take a beat to take a breath because all I want to do is scream. Your husband is a grown, adult, able-bodied man. It should be expected that he cleans. My eye is twitching. My eye literally just twitched, and I don't know if you caught it, but that happened. Jordan is your husband and your partner, and he lives in that house. So yes, I do think that part of his tasks should be cleaning. I don't think it should be surprising to you that he's cleaning. The fact that she like recorded her husband vacuuming either tells me she already had this post in her head and she was like, oh, I got him, or like, hey Jordan, go vacuum, I gotta catch you like through the door, just do it for a few seconds, I'll do it later. Like either she totally set this up, or it was such a rare sight for her to see her husband doing housework that she just had to document it to make sure she wasn't dreaming. Those are the only two scenarios in which I see this happening. I am so sick of people perpetuating the stereotype and the idea that it's nice when men help us swim and clean the house in heterosexual relationships. Oh, that's such a nice thing he's doing, helping you clean. When most women are either full-time parents, they work, or they go to school, they have other things on their plate. Like the only time in which I'd be like, wow, it's so nice you're helping me clean the house, is if the only thing I did on a daily basis was nothing. If I was a stay-at-home wife, if my husband worked, he made all the money, we had no kids, I had no job to go to, I had nothing else on my plate, no family to take care of, no school, nothing. And he said, stay home. I have no cap on your money. Yes, we have a budget, but my money is your money. You can spend it freely as long as it's within our agreed upon budget. I have no unhealthy expectations of you. All I want is for you to be a stay-at-home wife. Then I would take that upon myself and say, you know what, since I'm a stay-at-home wife, the least I can do is make sure I keep the house clean in between lunches with my friends, in between my winery tours on the weekends. Like the least I can do in between all of my lounging around is keep the house clean. Other than that, it's both people's responsibility. You both live in the house. You both have other things you got to do. You both need to make sure that you are taking care of the place where you live. It bothers the heck out of me that she is insistent on perpetuating these outdated gender roles and stereotypes. It just bugs the crap out of me, because you are setting women up for the expectation of like, if my husband vacuums, he is such a gentleman. And it's like, I feel for so many women in the religious space, because they are raised to not ask for the things that they need. They are raised to get the short end of the stick every time. And I will not take away from the pressure that is put on young men in the church, because there is pressure that goes there. Being told that you are solely responsible for being the provider for your family, and this is of course in more, conservative sects of Christianity. A lot of times it's not really taught in more progressive churches of like, your wife shouldn't work, it's the work of the devil if your wife has to earn a paycheck. Like, that doesn't really happen at a lot of churches, but for a lot of people it does. And so for those young men who are told your job is to make kids, get a job, and if your wife works, it means you're doing something sinful, that's pressure. But it also gives them a lot of power, and it takes power away from women, and it infantilizes them, and it sets them up to say, I don't like this thing, but I can't say anything about it. I must submit to my husband. I must keep my mouth shut. I must do what he says, because he is the leader of this household and he is the provider. And he was put in charge by God, so let me just shut my mouth. And I hate that, and it breaks my heart, because I know that it leads to really unhealthy relationship dynamics for a lot of people. And so again, it's something where it's like, oh, it's just a stupid reel. But when you think about it in the context of her wanting to be a religious leader, it has more intense consequences. And that's where my heart is bothered. But we're done. I've had an emotional day. I don't know if you've ever watched a movie that just ruined your life, but I did. I watched West Side Story with Rick last night, and I'm not okay. I was crying at work today because I'm like, their lives are just so sad. So I've had a very intense emotional day. I need to go. I need to go thank my gentleman of a husband for cooking me dinner, because he's cooking me dinner tonight. So wow. I wonder if I should. I was gonna say, I wonder if I should go get on my knees, but I feel like I shouldn't make that joke, but I just did. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this video down below. Leave me a comment. Give me your opinion. What do you think about those reels? Am I taking them a little bit too seriously? Am I digging too deep into them? Or do you see where I'm coming from? Let it all out down there. While you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you're subscribed already, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one.